Hello and good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Stiller, Director of Professional Development for CPA Plus organization. And today we're going to continue our theme of end of year tax planning concerns that your clients may have, and going deeper beyond the normal just check-in questions for the end of year just to do tax preparation, taking it a whole step further to lead into more potential complex engagements with your clients, which potentially could lead to more revenue. Now, our guest speaker today is Mike Reeder. He's one of the leaders in CPA Plus and a soon-to-be client in CPA Gardens, and also one of the entrepreneurial thinkers of this whole network as well. So let me get Wendy St. Clair, co-founder and COO of CPA Gardens here, and Michael Reeder here too. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hello. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, everyone.
Hi. Well, so as we continue forward here on our after Thanksgiving hangover and just restarting into this week as we're just reacclimating into everything in general, Wendy, where would you like to start with having Mike here? And I forgot to mention that, Mike, you own a CPA firm based in Chicago and a little over 1,000 clients, so a little bit bigger on the smaller firm side. And I know you've been customizing a lot of your engagements with clients in a different way. So, Wendy, let me start with you and where you would like to start.
Well, I know Andy had some great things to say. I don't know, how many people saw Andy, our guest last week, but we talked a lot about, end of year planning. And Mike, I'm interested in your perspective because it seems like end of year planning involves a lot of turmoil. So how do you resolve that? That was, something that we didn't get to speak about with Andy last week. So let's ask you.
Yeah, great question. Great topic. There's nothing. I deal with that turmoil, so to speak, by intentionally keeping the dialogue with clients before we dive deep. Like once we dive deep, we dive deep. But before, I intentionally keep the language vague. Like when I talk, meaning that every client is different. And of course there are certain commonalities amongst clients with certain with tax planning, but every client has their own situation going on. Every client has their own unique set of facts and circumstances that are unique to their own situation. And so, hey, we're gonna dive deep. And so we've got we establish the scope of work and the fee structure first, and then we dive deep. And I say that because there's nothing simple about it, I mean, it's important that me and my firm, we set the tone. When the market sets the tone, we fall, as CPAs, we fall into that trap of trying to cater to how the client thinks it's done. And we all love the clients out there, we love you clients, but when clients have a tendency to come to the CPA and they're looking for, hey, Mike, I got this going on, I got this going on. And they don't say this, but like their actions say this. Like, what's that quick, magic 2-second answer and solution to all my problems?
And then when you're dealing with their personal stuff too, right? I mean, it's not just, the tax stuff. Your clients depend on you, and you hear all kinds of stuff about, what they're dealing with. So 2-second answers aren't going to fix it, right?
Right, and it would be a disservice to us to tell that. And I've been telling clients, hey, listen, like it's a disservice. I know you're not saying this, Mr. and Mrs. Client, but it would be a disservice to you if I give you that 2-second answer to everything that you just told me right there. So here's what we're going to do. And so we've got, so that is how I start that conversation.
Right. What are the basic, because everybody's always in a hurry. Everybody lives their life by little sound bites, and, bits of information. So what if you've got a client like me with the attention span of a gnat? Like, what's the basic, the minimum stuff that you want to cover with them so they have all their ducks in the row and they can get it done and get out of there? What?
Yeah. So, for the client that has the attention span of a gnat, that it's important that they understand, hey, try to have try to focus on this stuff more. It's important and it's in your best interest to focus on this more. And so depending on who they are, right? I mean, if they're a business owner or are they individual only, if they're a business, are they an S Corp owner? So like that's just one example. If they're an S Corp owner, the bare minimum is, all right, well, what are your year-to-date numbers? What salary have you taken? Do you have self-employed health insurance? Because that has to go on the W-2. Are we doing it sort of retirement? Depending on the way that they're structured, there might be some basic bare minimum compliance things that need to get addressed at the end of the year. For an S Corp, the amount of salary that they take in proportion to their S Corp profit is one thing. And if they have a retirement plan, depending on the type of retirement plan, there are certain contributions that are due by the end of the year. And there are some that are due by April 15th or September 15th of the subsequent year. But that's the bare minimum. And that's really just compliance, and it's not planning. And strategic planning really requires them to get out of their gnat mindset and to get into their strategic, human, patient, patient.
Right. Well, I imagine
Buddhist monk, and really dive into this stuff.
You have to, change your approach, obviously, per client. That makes sense. But, maybe find unique ways to engage with them other than just here's the paper you fill out, here we'll talk for a half an hour, that sort of thing. So are there some unique ways you get to engage with clients or? Yeah,
absolutely. And so the manifestation of that planning service that we offer clients, it's a professional service agreement structure that we refer to as a strategic tax planning professional service agreement. And like I said at the beginning, it's very simple in terms of scope of work and fee structure, right? So $3,000 upfront retainer, and the lead planner is being billed out at a certain hourly rate, and any other assistant accounting team members are billed out at a lower rate for implementation. But it's so that's the fee structure, and the process is information gathering, number one, and number two is implementation. And what that does, and it starts out with an intro Zoom to just gather facts, and then once we get information, then there are lots of the conversation starts and ends in tax, but then there are also other elements. There are other components of the conversation that are in the context of investment, retirement planning, estate planning. For tax planning, it's short term, long term, and lots of things get on. And then are they going to have? They want to sell a real estate, they want to sell a real estate asset. Should they sell it now? Should they sell it maybe? We're in December, so there's a big strategy of end of year planning to strategically wait to do certain things that you're going to do anyways. Do them those first few weeks of January instead of December, and punt the tax event down 12 to 18 months, depending on if they file an extension or not. And so, but it's like once we are in that engagement where it's like, okay, here's the retainer, here's this hourly rate, then it's like everyone can breathe, and you feel that, okay, we're here now. Let's dive deep. And then that's when the magic happens, because when everyone dives deep and relaxes and really takes time on stuff, it's amazing how many things get unpacked. But and when that's not the case, and for the most part out there, everyone's rushed and it's holidays, it's got to go Christmas shopping, got to get ready for New Year's, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like, okay, like that. Well, for a lot of people, that's going to result in thousands of dollars.
It's like you live in my head, Mike. Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. So I imagine with that deep dive, though, and the more complex relationship with your clients, you're going to find more opportunities, not only for yourself, but for your clients.
Right. Absolutely.
So what are some things, I'm sure you have some anecdotal stuff. What are some of the things that have come from year-end planning conversations, strategic planning conversations?
Yeah. So, I mean, tax planning within itself, right? Certain retirement plans that can get implemented, certain opportunities to put family members on the payroll that makes sense. If they have teenage kids that are helping out with social media or office admin stuff anyways, there's a justifiable reason to put them on the payroll for a part-time salary. And spouse, like my spouse is doing all these things, might as well put her or him on the payroll to help out with this or that. But then it's, oh, I've got this retirement plan, but I don't know, like I've got someone over at Edward Jones and I don't really have a relationship. Oh, okay, and then so there's a great opportunity there to have that tax planning conversation go into financial management oversight, and and then it's like, oh, and then like insurance comes up, and it's like, oh, insurance. And so because I've got I have other licensed professionals on my team that are not just CPAs, so that but like it starts in tax. Right. And so, I mean, so many opportunities. Just yesterday, I was talking with a lady, a great client. She's been a client for a few years, and she's got debt consolidation she's got debt consolidation issues that she needs help with. So I'm going to connect her with someone from our financial management oversight team that can help out with that. And so, I mean, there's so much in tax. As I tell people, the Internal Revenue Code is thousands of pages long. There's lots of stuff there. Capital gain mitigation / deferral strategies, that's a whole conversation for another day.
Yeah, and nobody reads it. Thank God you guys are here, because nobody's going to go through that document and being able to pick out those salient bits.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities for planning, but it all needs to but they can only blossom and come to the forefront in the dialogue, be on the table and be discussed if the tone is set at the beginning. Like, this is how we're going to do it in the context of scope of engagement and fee structure.
Well, because leadership. I mean, they're looking to you for leadership, and
right.
The provision of leadership is what you're offering in addition to all this strategic planning, right? You
said it, Wendy. Leadership. They're coming to us for advice. So you, with integrity and love, client, you're going to follow our lead on this stuff, and it's going to be for your best interest. And newsflash, CPAs out there, tax professionals out there, it's not for every client, and that's okay. You can't, sell to the unsellable, as they say. I mean, there are going to be clients that they need it, and they need it, but they just don't see the value. Value is subjective, and hey, well,
that's where the relationship builds, and and that sort of thing, and nothing's immediate. And since we're getting away from that sales culture, which everyone knows that I hate, you really got to show your clients that you're providing them some additional things. Yeah, you're on a pay schedule. You got everything all out front, so nobody's got any hidden, sneakiness going on. But man, and then they rely on you for your leadership, not only with their taxes, but with advice and personal stuff. And, that just ties them to you and opens up, more potential for revenue for you and less stress for them. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mike, one of the great examples I've seen you set is taking your time in next step leadership, not jumping the gun with people. And with that, you've evolved your client's experience with you with a family business management team. So can you explain what that is and in comparison to a virtual family office model?
Yeah. So family business management team, right? It's an acronym that I really like. It rolls off the tongue, right? And what I love family business management as the term is because family business management firm and family business manager, I love those terms because they truly map to the relationship that me and my clients have, that my firm and our clients have respectively. Because we are more than just a CPA. I've said this before on prior podcasts, Wendy. Like, if you were to take a poll of your clients and say, hey, client, like from A to Z, go down your client list and ask them, what does the acronym CPA stand for? A lot of them are not going to even know. Oh, that's just my tax person, And so, okay, the literal meaning of it is a certified public accountant. And so that term alone, what it does is that it just puts the professional service provider in that context, the accountant, it's like an accountant, but we do so much more than just accounting. It doesn't even mention tax in there. And so CPA, so family business manager is a term that truly maps to the relationship between us and our clients. because yes, it starts in accounting and tax, but it goes into other areas of financial professional service. And by having a family business management firm, not only do we have tax professionals, because it's not just CPAs, right? There's CPAs, there's enrolled agents, there are unlicensed tax professionals out there that have like decades of experience that really know their stuff when it comes to tax, that are registered tax return preparers with the IRS. But so there's tax professionals, but then there's what about investment, estate planning, retirement, employee benefits, insurance.
Oh yeah, that umbrella is huge. I mean, there's so much.
Umbrella is huge, exactly. And so I tell clients, I say, don't think of me as just your CPA. Think of me as your family business manager. All things going on in your life in the context of tax and business consulting. I have several clients that are business owners, and financial management. Just throw it my way. And as your family business manager, I'll be that linchpin advisor that coordinates all of it. Whatever I'm taking the lead on, I'm taking the lead on. And then anything else that, someone else, think of me as the general contractor, and I'll bring in the applicable subcontractors and this or that as according. But you client, just don't stress. Like you said, don't stress, just throw it my way as your family business manager. All things going on in your life, like in those three things, like tax planning, business consulting, financial management, and business and personal, throw it my way. I got it. Go do your thing. Go walk the dog.
With the professional service agreement in place too, you're right there, and God, it must be a huge relief. The clients that you've gotten, involved in this, and you are their family business manager, and they've got the professional service agreement. I mean, their lives and yours must be so much more simple.
I think
it's exactly, they are, because it's just, okay, I can just dump all this stuff on Mike and his team and they'll handle it. And that you can just like feel the burden get lifted off their shoulders.
But dumping it on you in a different way, where they're viewing you differently and properly. Sometimes in a lot of cases, a lot of clients just view their CPAs in an unhealthy way, where they dump things on them like in a bad timing of the year, or just certain things, and not the full spectrum for you to do even more for them in their life too. So you've helped set the stage pretty good for your clients.
For sure.
Yeah, and a big part of that is setting the context of how this is going to be, like showing that leadership, like I've said, like I said, like in this Zoom right here prior, in this live stream. Before all of that, we got to set the tone as leaders in this relationship with our clients, the scope of engagement and fee structure. Because if we don't, then we fall into that trap of like the clients are dumping all this stuff on us and they're trying to get it for free. And that and so many CPAs, I've struggled with it for years, of just all of a sudden we're trying to operate within the context that the client created, and it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot of CPAs find themselves getting really bogged down and stressed out and working 5 times as hard, working 1 million hours for this much. I can't even show it on my screen. My hand is so low. Like that little.
Well, right. You want to develop dependence on you for sure. That's important, but also manage that dependence. So I think that the way that CPA Plus has organized the family business manager, the professional service agreements, can really help CPAs, accounting professionals, like make the most of their business and then still have a life. See, that's the thing, is so many of my clients don't have a life because they're living their client's life. And, this manages that. And I'd like to address more down the road on how to go about setting that up, Matt.
Yeah. I've been there before, Wendy. I've been there before not having a life. I've been there before, and I get so much empathy for small CPA firms out there, because I've been there. I've been in this industry for 12 years now. I'm 36. I now own the firm that hired me out of college. And that sounds cool to say. People, oh, Mike, that's so cool. But boy, did I struggle a lot in those early years of just grinding so hard and just,
especially if you're a nice person, you just try to, do everything that you can. So this way it makes it easier for you just to be the, decent human being that you are.
Right.
And everybody can appreciate it.
Yeah. And speaking of leadership, we need to live a life that we're preaching to people. If we're preaching to clients and to other CPAs out there, we have to aspire to do certain things, and then in the background we're struggling and like working like crazy. That's hypocritical.
Right. Well, it's like doctors that smoke and do drugs. You can't be that person, and be be authentic, which I think is what we're getting at here, is to be the most authentic you that you are, or you can be. And
Yeah.
that sure helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and that big cliche that we all talk about, but it's true. It's like, like at the end of the day, ask yourself, do you work to live or live to work? And so many CPAs find themselves living to work, and that's just not a way to live ever.
No, sir. No, sir. Well, I think on that, thank you, Mike. That was really great information.
Yeah, it was. And so, full circle, which we'll recap probably every live stream, Wendy, with your passion project here, we're here because of all this, what we're at the end talking about, helping accounting professionals get their life back, scale through mutualism, that leads to greater revenue and their clients viewing them differently and properly.
Right.
And there's all these different tips and tricks and approaches and skills and everything to learn and grow within it. And so that's what we're here to do every week at 11:30 Eastern. And so next week we're going to take a little bit of a different approach and talk about a better balance for the holiday season, because coming into the year end holidays here, it can be really rough behind closed doors for people. Everything sounds good on the front end. Something could be eating them up on the inside. So we're going to talk about that as all of you engage with your clients, with these necessary end of year reviews. There's little seeds you can plant or discussion points that can help your clients feel so much more peace, order, and control in their life. All thanks to you.
So no, I'm excited. We can really change some CPAs and accounting professionals' lives, and by trickling that down to their clients, I mean, it could be a huge movement if we can just get everybody on board. So I'm anxious to proceed with more guests, and getting ready for the holidays is rough on everybody. So
yeah. So thank you, Mike, for joining us today. Thank you,
Mike.
Wendy.
Of course. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Matt. Always a pleasure.
Great. We'll see you all next week, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.